Mr. Harsh?
Yes, sir, I can hear you and see you very well.
You are speaking from Delhi?
Sir, Gurugram.
Oh, what happened? You were to come, suddenly some change.
Yes, sir, I plan to come. But then in the morning, some people told me that there are problems at Delhi Gurugram border. And also, I felt that since my interviews is on 20th of August and there is only 3 days left, so I'll save the commute time and rather preparing the things that I've studied before.
Just a minute.
Okay.
Just 1 minute. I come from Gurgaon and my colleague here. We both have driven down. There was no problem. So people who told you gave misinformation. So always be careful about misinformation.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let us start. Please tell us something about yourself.
Sir, my name is Harsh Parashar, which in Hindi means delight. I come from a small town of Katihar in Bihar. I did my schooling from there. My father is a professor of Hindi literature and my mother is a caring homemaker. I did my graduation with a major in electronics and electrical communication engineering from IIT Kharagpur. Afterwards, I worked for 2 years at a multinational company as a data scientist. For last 2 years, I've been working at a small Indian startup, Zivanta Consulting, also as a data scientist.
No, you were getting very good salary there. So why are you leaving these jobs and joining civil services? You were getting more than 1 lakh of rupees as salary.
Yes, sir. At Deloitte, I was getting more than a lakh, but then I made a change to Zivanta where I was getting comparatively less. My reason to join civil services is I actually came across a book by Mr. Shiv Shankar Menon, and I felt that foreign services in particular and civil services in general is a very unique kind of job, something that corporate culture and the work in private sector
But
cannot.
even in your preferences also, I am surprised that you have given serial number 3 and 4 to the class 2 Andaman and Nicobar civil service and Puducherry civil service rather than the IPS. Why this?
Sir, actually, I think this is a mistake which happened last time as well. Actually, the maybe you've not received the updated DAF that I have filled. But this happened in fact last time. I sent them the updated DAF, but apparently it seems that you have not received the
In
updated
that
DAF.
it is not so. In that, what is the preference? The first 3 services.
So the first is Indian Foreign Services, second is Indian Administrative Services, third is Indian Police Services.
It is not services. The word is service. You please correct yourself.
Thank you, sir.
And I can also see that you're married. So is your wife working or what is the?
Yes, sir. She is presently working as a teacher, a TGT teacher in RPS International School in Gurugram, where I'm presently living.
Oh, I see. Because generally people are not married, so I thought that I'll just check with you that.
Yes, sir.
Now you have studied in a Scottish school.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me something about Scotland? What is it famous for, where it is, and all?
Yes, sir. So Scotland is a part of United Kingdom, which it became in 1770s after King Peter of Scotland became the king of the entire Britain and the rest of the kingdoms. Since 1998, it has received a number of provincial powers after a referendum that was held in 1997.
What is it famous for, I ask you?
Sir, one thing I can think of is this particular culture of the wearing of kilt, which is a kind of skirt that is worn by men. That one. And Scotland is also famous for its the particular terrain on which tribals have lived.
You haven't heard of Scotch whiskey?
Sir, I don't drink, so I was not aware of that.
Oh. Tell me about J.C. Bose. That's another thing in your DAF.
Yes,
Can
sir.
you briefly tell me about his life sketch?
Yes, sir.
You tell me.
Sir, Mr. J.C. Bose was an eminent scientist from West Bengal. At that time, it was only Bengal. He is credited to have
Where was he
invented.
born? Any idea where was he born?
No, sir. No.
Okay, please go ahead.
So he's credited to have invented Crescograph, which is a machine that can detect very small changes in the response to stimuli in plants. And with this, he was able to show that plants also change direction based on light and water and so on. He's also called the father of Indian radio technologies, and he's credited to have discovered the transmission of information
But
through radio waves.
I believe he got Nobel Prize. Is that correct?
Sir, not in my knowledge. I don't think it was J.C. Bose who received.
No,
Nobel
he
Prize.
got it, but not for radio waves. The Marconi had got it. Tell me, marathon also is another one of your loves.
Yes, sir.
So marathon is based on what story?
Sir, it is based on the story of Battle of Marathon, which happened in classical Greece, where there was a fight between when Persian invaded Greece or Athens, the city-state of Athens. Then a particular marathoner, his name was Philippinides. He ran from the place of marathon where the battle was being held, and the Athenians were able to defeat the Persians and ran back to the city-state where he informed and collapsed and died in front of the National Assembly there.
So what
So
was the
we-
distance?
So the distance was around 40 kilometers, but the present distance of marathon is actually 42.195 kilometers. So there is a
So how
little.
much in terms of miles?
So 26 miles, 385 yards.
Acha, tell me, my last question, give me 5 highlights of the speech of the Prime Minister yesterday at the Radford. But before that, you just tell me what all did he do there in yesterday's program apart from delivering the speech?
Besides the speech, sir, I heard the speech, but I do not recall what else he did.
Okay, tell me 5 main highlights of his speech.
Yes, sir. Sir, the most important one I found was the declaration of that India will should become Atmanirbhar by the 100th or the centenary of Indian independence, and that the period
That
of
was already declared Atmanirbhar Bharat. Anyway, okay, what else?
So that what I was referring to is that Amrit Mahotsav will start the period of Amrit Kal, or the golden period, is what I found very inspiring. Second is the call or slogan for Sabka. A new slogan has been added to this: Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, and now
Prayas.
Sabka Prayas. Thank you, sir. The Sabka Prayas, that it will be based on inclusive development. Third is 100 lakh crore rupees of National Master Plan for Infrastructure Development, which will be planned for the growth of to make India particularly self-dependent and allow a competitive edge to the particular businesses that are presently working out of India. A fourth is that 14th of August every year will be celebrated as a Partition Horrors Remembrance Day.
To be celebrated, it will be remembered. There's nothing to celebrate about horrors of partition.
Yes, sir, that's very correct. So it will be to remember the horrors of partition and how social division can lead to so many problems in the working of the country. And another one is that during next 75 weeks, 75 high-speed Vande Bharat trains will be launched that will connect all parts of India.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. My colleagues will talk to you now.
Mr. Harsh,
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
you want to join the Indian Foreign Service, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What can you tell me about the Indian Foreign Service Day? When is it observed and why? What is the date and what is the significance?
Sir, But I should have known this, but I do not know this. I'm sorry.
All right, okay. Now, how useful do you think are military exercises in strengthening bilateral relationships?
So I think they are a very important part of because defense happens to be one of the important strategic areas in which two countries can cooperate. And our exercises, for example, with US or with in multilateral environment with US, Japan, and Australia, these happen to boost the synergy that exists between the militaries of two countries. Number one. Number two, they tend to give a signal that these two countries, because they have good bilateral relations in defense area, it is more likely that they will protect each other's interests. For example, in South China Sea against China.
All right, now you mentioned exercises with US, Australia, Japan. What can you tell me about exercises with Russia?
So in fact, Russia is one of the two countries with whom, and the first country with whom we had trilateral military exercises. So that signifies the historical.
Now, what is the bilateral exercise with Russia? What is it called? When was it held?
So the bilateral exercise happens on all the three fronts. I cannot recall its name now, but the bilateral exercise.
When did it take place? Last.
Sir, I cannot recall.
You don't follow current situations. It took place from 1st to 13th August. It just ended 3 days back. All right, now let's talk about something else. What can you tell me about Prime Minister's address at the UN Security Council on August 9?
Yes, sir. Sir, since India is the current chair of United Nations Security Council, our Honorable Prime Minister gave this speech, this particular debate on maritime security. And here it was emphasized how important it is to have open or the principle of mare liberum, which is open seas, as compared to the closed seas, which
there were 5 points which the Prime Minister made. Please tell me what those 5 points. He gave a 5-point action plan. What were the 5 points?
Sir, one is principle of open seas or mare liberum. Number two is a rule-based international order in high seas, which should be based on the United Nations Convention on Law of Sea. Third is the importance on bilateral and multilateral convergences on the conduct in these high seas. Fourth is the India as a first responder to humanitarian and disaster response programs, which it has done previously in tsunami as well. And fifth will be India's role as a.
You are saying that these should be the 5 points, but these were not the 5 points. Some points you were correct, but then you are missing out on some of those points.
Sir, it is possible.
All right, now you said India is the president of the UN Security Council this month. There are 3 themes which India has said it would be emphasizing during its presidency. Can
Yes,
you
sir.
tell me about those 3 themes?
Yes, sir. Sir, it was declared before India took the chairmanship. These 3 themes are: number one, peacemaking, especially in Syria.
Peacekeeping.
Peacekeeping. Thank you, sir. Peacekeeping. Second is technology with a human face. And third is maritime security, over which the debate was also
Second, you have got it wrong. The second is counter-terrorism. Maritime security, peacekeeping, and counter-terrorism. These are the 3 themes which India has emphasized. Now, you are aware that the United Nations was set up in 1945.
Yes,
What
sir.
were the 6 organs, the principal organs of the United Nations which were set up at that
Yes,
time?
sir. Yes, sir. Sir, one is United Nations General Assembly. Second is United Nations Security Council. Third is Economic and Social Council, or ECOSOC. Fourth is Trusteeship Council. Fifth will be International Court of Justice. And sir, I'm missing on the sixth.
Well, of course, all the bureaucrats, if you join the UN system, the
United Nations
Secretariat.
Secretariat. Yes,
The
sir.
Now,
UN Secretariat. Thank you, sir.
can you tell me how many members are there now in the United Nations?
Sir, 194.
Or is it 193?
Sir, to the best of my knowledge, it was 194, but it could.
Okay, now what can you tell me about the Abraham Accords?
Sir, Abraham Accords were signed between Israel on one hand and Bahrain and United Arab Emirates on the other hand.
Just hold on. You say, okay, all right, Israel on one side, that means between Israel and UAE, Israel and Bahrain. All right,
Yes, sir.
okay. And what is the significance of these?
Sir, it is very significant because presently Middle East is very volatile and there are three main parties in power or who are competing for power. These are Iran, which is mainly Shia. The second is Saudi Arabia-led GCC, which is mostly Sunni, and Bahrain and UAE happen to be part of the Gulf Cooperation Council. And the third was Israel, which although very small in size and a recent state, has developed a lot of immense defense technology. So Abraham Accords seeks to re-establish the power norms which presently exist, and UAE and Bahrain have moved closer to Israel on the insistence of United States. This is showing that GCC.
How many, you see, the significance is that UAE and Bahrain normalize relations with Israel. That
Yes,
is the
sir.
main significance of these accords.
Yes,
How
sir.
many Arab countries in all have normalized their relations with Israel?
Sir, these were the first two. Later on, two more have joined the wagon.
So these were the first two Arab states which normalized relations with Israel. Were there any Arab countries before that?
Sir, not to
What about Egypt? Has Egypt normalized relations with Israel or no?
Sir, I don't know.
You don't know. What about Jordan?
So Jordan, I was aware that Jordan has recently joined after the Abraham Accords. It
Are
has
you
also
sure
sought
it
to-
has recently joined?
Sir, this was to my knowledge that after Abraham Accords, Egypt and not Egypt, sorry, Jordan and one other country, they have sought to renormalize the ties with Israel.
No, after the Abraham Accords, Morocco and Sudan have recognized. So
Yes,
are
sir.
you not confused?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for clarifying this. I
Last
got
question.
confused.
Last question.
Yes, sir.
In view of the recent developments in Afghanistan, what are the immediate challenges for India? The immediate challenges.
So the first is to ensure security of Indian nationals who are still in Afghanistan.
Now, how?
Sir, we have a military aircraft on stand and they need to be evacuated. Our embassy is still functioning in Kabul when most of the embassies have shut down. So this will be used as a bridge to bring those people back.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Harsh Parashar,
Yes, sir.
I will ask you to speak on some topics, 4 or 5 topics. Poverty. What do you understand?
Sir, poverty is a form of multi-dimensional
Now,
deprivation.
in the Indian context.
Yes, sir. Sir, in India, poverty is defined by a poverty line, which is from time to time set up or changed based on the specific socioeconomic scenario. The present definition of poverty is based on the Tendulkar line, which was done in 2009. Presently, 22%, before COVID hit, 22% of people were living under poverty and 5% were living under extreme poverty in India. But after pandemic, according to PLFS survey, 26% of the people are living under poverty.
Inequality.
Sir, inequality is a is a natural state where two groups, two people or two groups or two countries or any two entities tend to have unequal access to capitals. The four capitals have been defined for
We're
this.
talking about India. India again, please. Focus on India.
Yes, sir. Sir, inequality in India would mean that certain groups have access to a disproportionate amount of resources, whereas the other group does not. In India, inequality is measured by an Oxfam.
Is it rising or is it coming down?
Sir, it is rising. In 2009, top 1% of the people owned 40% of India's total economic resources, but now 59% economic resources are owned by just 1% of the people.
Which is worse, poverty or inequality?
Sir, I believe poverty to be more debilitating because inequality happens to exist across all the countries in the world.
Unemployment in India?
So the present rate, unemployment by definition is those people who are seeking for work but are unable to find it. In India, the unemployment rate according to a 10 PLFS survey is 4.8%. And this has actually come down surprisingly after the last PLFS where it was 6.1%, the highest it had been in last 45 years.
What can be done about it?
Sir, one reason why unemployment is rising is because the focus of government and in general of the public is towards creating jobs in particular areas like IT. Whereas I believe that employment opportunities lie more in those areas such as construction, where the emphasis is rather less. This is one. And second is to increase employment, we have to increase the skills of people who are looking for employment.
There's the Ministry of Skill Development.
Yes, sir. And sir, in fact, we have specific dedicated government programs for this as well.
But unemployment is at an all-time high.
Yes, sir.
What kind of skills do you think India needs?
A specific set of 21st century skills have been labeled. But I believe that what we need is not only the technical skills, but rather the soft skills also. Because India, I feel that people in India are very talented. The problem is that they are not able to express these talents before.
Please elaborate on the soft skills that you have in mind.
Sir, some soft skills I would say are communication skills, dispute handling skills, or rather conflict resolution skills, negotiation skills, presentation skills.
We are talking of generating employment. These things, communications, will not generate employment.
Sir, I can give an example from my own personal experience. In IIT Kharagpur during placements, a lot of companies come and a lot of people get placed as well. But those people who even have good skills tend to not get placed at very good places, which should be proportionate to their skills because they lack the ability to express them properly. So
what about people who don't appear for campus recruitments? They also need employment.
Yes, sir. But if I speak only from IIT experience, it will be quite biased because IITs tend to have higher people who sit in placements. People who do not sit in placements tend to either voluntarily not sit because they are pursuing higher education.
Okay, let us talk about illiteracy in India.
Yes, sir. Sir, illiteracy is defined presently as the number of people who.
No, we know. Don't give me definition. Just tell me.
Sir, the present literacy rate in India is 74%. Literacy rate is 74%, but there happens to be wide statewide variation. Like
you should give me problems and solutions, not statistics.
Okay, sir. Sir, one problem with literacy is that although we have achieved a higher level of foundational literacy, but advanced literacy such as those needed in higher educational institutions still happen to be less. We only have 25% of enrollment in higher education in India, gross enrollment rate.
What is the solution? Some solutions?
Yes, Sir, I believe some of the provisions that national educational policy has introduced, they will help in making gross enrollment rate in higher education more inclusive.
That doesn't
And-
mean anything to me unless you give me specifics.
Yes, sir. Sir, one problem is that people from like women, they do not tend to get enrolled in higher educational institutions.
Okay, Harsh, finally a few words on pollution in India.
Yes, sir. Sir, India. So I'll go in problems first. In India, although we have made a national determined NDC for UNFCCC, we have not declared any specific time by which we will become carbon neutral, unlike many of the other countries who have. And I do not believe that we should immediately.
I'm not asking you about climate change. I'm asking you about pollution.
Yes, sir. Then for pollution, for air pollution, the problem is biggest in the area where I'm living, Delhi and NCR, where 5 of the 10 most polluted cities in the world are here. The reason for this is its specific geography, but also the lack of a mass transport system, where people tend to use their own vehicles, cars or bikes, in order to commute. So we lack a rather mass commute system because the buses that we have running.
Yeah, point taken. What else?
Sir, on land pollution, I will say plastic is one of the biggest issues which is causing land degradation. We have set the target for 2030 for land degradation neutrality. But the solution for this can only come when the agriculture that we have is climate smart.
Thank you,
Which means-
thank you, thank you, Harsh.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Harsh, your service selection is very unique.
Sir, if I can add one comment on this. Actually, the DAP that you have is one that I previously filled. This happened last time as well when I had the interview in June. My
Acha.
service, sir, my service preferences presently, the last one that I have filled is first is Indian Foreign Service, second is Indian Administrative Service, third is Indian Police Service, then Indian Revenue Service for IT, and then Customs.
So you have revised it.
Yes, sir, I've revised it. In fact, this problem will also happen in hobbies, where I have changed my hobbies and in the last form that I filled. It is algorithmic coding and reading inspirational Hindi poetry. These are the two places where changes have been made.
Acha, hobby also changed, algorithm.
Yes, sir, algorithmic coding.
What is the difference between algorithm and logarithm?
So these are completely two different things. Logarithm is a mathematical tool where we can easily express very large numbers in rather small way of representation. Like,
And what is the algorithm?
So algorithm is a very generic term that can imply anything that a number of steps that is needed to do anything. For example, even to open a gate and enter a room, the algorithm can be said as
No,
walk
that
to
is
the gate.
application of algorithm. I am asking what is algorithm?
So algorithm is a number of steps to achieve an intended objective.
Number of steps to achieve a particular objective.
Yes, sir.
Okay, these steps are linear or they are loops
Sir,
also?
they can be iterative as well, depending upon what purpose it is.
Okay. Good. Tell me, we have celebrated yesterday 75th year of our independence.
Yes, sir.
Then there have been a lot of discussion other than the Prime Minister's speech about idea of India. Idea of India. Many people have expressed them through the newspapers.
Yes, sir.
What is your idea of India? In brief.
Yes, sir. Sir, I'll list 3 things I feel that would represent my idea of India. One of them will be it's tolerant. That India for me is the broad 2,500 years of history of coexistence, where we have lived and supported each other ideas. There are 8 major religions, 1,632 languages in India, and we still have that belief of unity in diversity.
So
Number two
tolerance. Tolerance is one, you are telling.
Yes, sir. By tolerance, I mean unity in diversity.
That is one thing. Yeah, okay.
So second for me is, I will say the economic progress that we have made, or aspirational India, which is we are trying to become a $5 trillion economy by 2030. And the 6 tools that we have in our toolkit to achieve that.
Okay.
The third I will say is, for me, India is also a Vishwa Shishya. There has been a lot of talk about making India a Vishwa Guru, but I believe that we should become a Vishwa Shishya first. That we should learn from all the good things that are being done in different countries, in different parts of the world, and try to imbibe whatever is relevant for us by modifying it to our.
What is that Bhisham Pitamaha? You use the word Bhisham Pitamaha.
No, sir, I use the word Vishwa Shishya, world student.
So rather than Vishwa Guru, we should be Vishwa Shishya.
We should be Vishwa Shishya first in order to become Vishwa Guru.
But how can we become Vishwa Guru when we don't, the education system, condition of the colleges, universities, we don't stand anywhere in the hierarchy, ratings and all that.
So presently we do not, but we have made rapid strides. If I take the example of ease of doing business, we have improved from 140 to 63 within 5 years. So that shows that we have the potential to be there.
In which respect we have improved?
Sir, on ease of doing business or in general?
Ease of doing business is different than Vishwa Guru. That is a different thing. And even now, after 63, anyhow, that is a good improvement, but still there is some scope for improvement.
Yes, sir.
Any other idea, just idea of India?
So these are the ones that I can think
Okay.
of. Although there will be hundreds of things more.
Mega biodiversity hotspots are there. Mega biodiversity hotspots.
Yes, sir.
What is that concept?
Sir, I cannot recall the person who gave it, but the idea of mega biodiversity hotspot is that there are certain areas in which the concentration of endemic varieties of plants and flora and fauna is very high, number one. And number two, that many of these areas have seen a large decline in the original endemicity of these flora and fauna.
So can you tell what is the quantitative criteria? How much threat of destruction and how much endemicity?
Sir, I had remembered this
Okay.
Conservation International criteria, but I cannot recall the numbers now.
Okay, tell me, how many in India we have hotspots?
Sir, we have 4. One is the Western Ghats, second is the Himalayan region, third is the Sunda lands, and fourth is the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, which is a part of the larger Indonesian area as well.
Okay, now I'll give you a small situation to you. And situation is you consider yourself as a business, owner of a business.
Yes, sir.
And you are producing certain goods, you want to sell them. And for selling, you engage some other firm for supplying customers. And the condition is that you will pay the fee and they will supply customers as many as you want. But they will not supply customers to your competitors. Situation clear?
Sir, I did not get the part on competitors. They will not supply the goods.
They will not supply customers to your competitors. There are other firms which are producing same goods.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So they won't supply to them. That is a condition in the agreement.
Okay, sir.
So now your business goes on okay, you keep on getting the customers, you are producing goods, you are doing business well. After some time you come to know that they have started supplying customers to your competitors also, though they are supplying whatever you need to you. Now, what are the steps you will take?
Sir, since we had a formal agreement before this started, so I'll first point out to them that they are violating the terms of our agreement,
Yes.
and that they should refrain from doing so in the future. Whatever is done in the past.
Okay, if they don't agree, then next.
So the next step will be to use the institution of alternate dispute redressal, because litigation generally takes a lot of time. So my focus will be to get this thing sorted as quickly as possible.
Okay.
So I'll go to ADR mechanism.
Thank you.
Mr. Harsh, our discussion with you is over.
Yes, sir.
Now we will mute our video and audio for 2 minutes
Yes, sir.
and reconnect with you to discuss the feedback.
Yes, sir.
At that time, please put on your mask also.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so just for a bit of rehearsal, because you will be going there with the mask,
Yes, sir.
and we'll just connect to you. Please don't go anywhere. Stay back. Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.